Greetings, everybody. My name is Kat Courtney. I am the CEO of Plant Medicine People, and I'm here with one of our coaches and our master plant dieta experts, Neil Kirwan, calling in from the jungle. Hi, Neil.
Oh,
That is not a digital background. That's the real deal. You're in the Costa Rican jungle. We are here today, though. We're going to talk about Passionflower, who I know is one of your greatest allies. So, can you just give everybody a quick, brief overview of who you are as a plant lover and carrier and how you first discovered Passionflower?
yeah, definitely. I've been working with plants for over a decade now, mainly working with ayahuasca, but working with lots of other plant dietas as well, including Bobinsana and Noyorao, um, and holding retreats, ceremonies, working with plant medicine people, working as an integration coach. Um, got a few different strands within this plant medicine world that I work within. Um, and yeah, plant passion flower is new into my world really. It was only just over a year ago that I started working with passion flower. Um, and it kind of happened by accident. I remember I was on the phone to you, Kat, and you asked me the question, are there any plants that you want to offer diets with? And the word passion flower came out of my mouth before I'd even I was like, where did that come from? Yeah, there was no conscious thought to it. It just came out of my mouth. Um, and then I looked across from where I was speaking to you on the telephone, and the passion flower that I have growing outside was right there. And it's right outside my front door. It's it's just starting to flower at the moment. And it's this beautiful welcome that I get every time I drive the car home and pull up outside the front of the house. The passion flower is always there to welcome us home. Um, and so I did my first dieta with passion flower last year, and before I offered it as a diet, and I don't like to have favorites in the plant medicine kingdom. It's not a good idea for many reasons, but if I'm being completely honest, this plant is definitely one of my favorites without a shadow of a doubt.
Why? What do you love about her?
Um, it's really just the way it makes me feel, the way the plant makes me feel. And for me, it was one of those plants that was very visual, especially at nighttime, without being a psychedelic plant. Um, but I remember my dream space and going to bed, there was a lot of um, blues and purples in my field. There was a lot of swirling colors. There was a lot of sparkles, and it was like being in this really incredible plant kingdom. And and within that, it's obviously it's known as a nervine, as in it's a plant that helps to soothe and tonify your nervous system. Um, and so within that process, how you feel, how regulated you feel, how calm you feel, how good you feel. Um, I think that for me it's the essence of feeling peace. It's the closest I felt to really feeling at peace, and so I value that so highly, and that's what Passion Flower helps me to find. It helps me to find peace.
I always say that I think everybody should have at least one nervine friend in the plant kingdom because of the wildly intense lives that we live and how most of us have dysregulated nervous systems. So passion flower is your ally. So as you and I know, in master plant diets, we call it a marriage, a merger between the human spirit and the plant spirit. And what we discover when we diet a plant is that it's kind of like you think you know somebody until you marry them. You get really intimate. And so the plants are the same. They reveal things that we might not know are there by casually connecting with them. So when you've dieted and held diets for passion flower, what are some of the additional attributes beyond being a nervine? And by the way, the sparkliness is really charming and wonderful. But what else have you discovered about who she is as a spirit?
Um, well, first of all, it's the first plant I've come across that isn't really. I mean, in saying that, there are a lot of plants that kind of have both masculine and feminine elements to them. You know, ayahuasca being a plant that's sometimes known in feminine and sometimes masculine, depending on different tribes that work with her. Um, but passion flower for sure really came through with a blend of masculine and feminine energy and was for me and in how it communicated to me very clear that there is no he or she, it's not either or, it's a both. um and um and so within that, I think that balance of both masculine and feminine energy, um it's I think that balance is what helps to create the peace as well, because it's a harmonious union of masculine and feminine. um but as you know from working with Nervines yourself, one of the shock factors is that you expect it to be this super relaxing dieta, and often it can be quite the opposite, as the plants start to bring up the things that get in the way of your nervous system regulating. They start to take you to the places where you are blocked from being calm, from being peaceful, from being regulated and being able to relax. And so you have to go there first. You have to go to these places first. And one of the core things that passion flower works with is anxiety. Um, but on an even deeper level, the thing that's underneath anxiety, which is perfectionism, and so helps us to see where perfectionism is showing up in our lives and really harming us. Um, and it was something. It was a shadow of mine that I wasn't really aware of or working with during the diet. Um, and as I was dieting passion flower, I was holding ceremonies. I was holding ayahuasca ceremonies for people during that period. And I remember going to the bathroom and looking at myself in the mirror. And every night, night after night, I would see this face, like a monster face. And it was kind of like the storybook Where the Wild Things Are, where you see these like weird looking monsters. And it was only towards the very end of the diet it became clear that was the monster of my perfectionism. And it was showing me that in the mirror, and how that gets in the way of my peace and creates so much anxiety in my life. And so and it's something that I've seen Passion Flower work with a lot with other people as well, helping them to see where their perfectionism is harming them
That's so
and
super.
creating lots of anxiety.
Yeah, because what I know about the Nervines is they typically each have a lane, like a superpower within that space of working with our nervous system, because that's obviously a very broad and sort of complicated space. So passion flower being a medicine of perfectionism to help us to taper that. And I don't know her that well, but the word that I typically associate with passion flower you used as well, which is harmony, harmonious. I find it really interesting that you feel the medicine is very balanced between masculine and feminine, because most of us would just assume and imprint the femininity, myself included. And yet I've heard from many people who have dieted passion flower that there is this presence of union between masculine and feminine, which makes sense in terms of if harmony is a core element of the medicine of passion flower, well, then all the polarities would likely be harmonized. What about physically? Any other things that passion flower does for the body that is notable?
Um, I for me, there is a knock-on effect to being in a deep state of rest. So when your body is able to reach deep states of rest, like I was able to during the passion flower diet, um, the body has an opportunity to do things that it's not been able to do perhaps for a long time when the nervous system has been kind of running to the wire all the time and been in this state of fight or flight and has been running in sympathetic dominance and being unable to then do the work it needs to do when it's in a state of rest and relaxation and rest and digest and this kind of phase. So when you do enter this phase, there's kind of an untangling that can happen um, all across your body, not just in one particular place. And so things like digestion can start to improve. And I've seen like it has a very calming effect on the digestive system, taking away like irritable bowel syndrome, things like this. Also, the the sleep quality that you get during the diet again um is 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 a precursor to the body being able to recover, heal, do all the things that it needs to do that when we are in a state of stress, it can't find the time to do and it doesn't have the energy to do.
I know that from being obsessed of understanding my own sleep cycles. I wear the Aura ring these days, which monitors that. And that deep sleep, which is different than REM sleep, deep sleep is where the body recovers, and REM sleep is where the mind recovers. And Passionflower, Valerian, who's my number one Nervine ally, they can help the body reach those states of deep sleep, which is the only place where the body's actually able to release and recover. Light sleep doesn't do that. So that, I mean, it's a game changer in terms of our physical and mental health. One of the things I want to mention, though, that is very unique to Passionflower that I became aware of earlier this year is that Passionflower has a deep relationship with dopamine, which is our happy, like harmonious neurotransmitter. In that she's an MAOI, the way that ayahuasca is, right? But specifically, what Passionflower helps to do is monitor the metabolism, how we metabolize dopamine. And so some of us, myself included, I metabolize dopamine too quickly. Like my body generates it just fine, but I use it up too quickly. And passion flower is one of the very few plants that can help metabolize that in a harmonious way. There's that word again. Um, and that is also really incredibly beneficial. I mean, ayahuasca can do this, but we don't tend to work with her on a day-to-day basis. So bringing in passion flower, who is an ally for all of these things, and to help slow down the metabolizing of dopamine so that we can maintain a steady, sort of consistent flow of feeling happy, peaceful, present, harmonious. Like it's kind of a medicine that I think the majority of people could benefit from truly. So tell us about the master plant diet that you have coming up in October with Passion Flower. What is this process like with you?
So the diet is a group container, and usually we have around 10 people join. And it goes for a course of 5 weeks. Within that 5 week container, we open the diets. And once you're in diet and you follow the restrictions of the diet and the protocols, and you have the opportunity to really dive deep with the plant yourself and have your own experience with the plant because um I can talk all day about my own experiences, but someone may come along and have a completely different experience. We always get the medicine we need, and it's always very personal to us. Um, so you get to have your own experience with this plant. And every week there's a group call in which we connect and we share what's going on for us. We share about what's going on with the plants and how they're supporting us and what we're learning. Um, and I think that for me in particular is the most useful dynamic in these diets is this opportunity to come together with other people because you really see people learning from each other and perhaps seeing things that they weren't seeing previously and being like, oh yeah, this is happening to me and this is something I'm navigating. Everybody kind of learns from each other and supports each other through the process, which is a really beautiful thing. And it's good to know when you're in diet that you're not alone. There's like a group of other people around you doing it. Um, and I know that you set up a Discord chat where people can connect and share ideas and information as well. So it's a really beautiful way to diet and a beautiful container in which to do it. And it's an opportunity to do it in a really supported way.
Amazing, Neil. Thank you for sharing. So down below, if you're interested in joining the Master Plant Dieta with Passionflower in October of 2024, information is down there for you to join. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk about this beautiful plant. Always good to connect with you, brother. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I just thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see
Thank you,
you
sir.
next time.